I was born for this. I was born for this.
Welcome back to another episode of Cork'd Up, I should say. I'm Jessica Kleinschmidt.
And I'm Rachel Luba.
Cheers. I've had a long day, Mama. I'm just saying. It's been a day. What is our wine word?
Our wine word is meetings.
So you know it's going to get happening. Winter meetings are happening in the comfort of our own homes. It's been weird. But I'm kind of into it. Maybe it's just because I'm adjusted, but you know, I know it's not what we're used to. I know there's good and bad things with it. Obviously, everything's virtual this time around, but we're going to talk about how we're handling it. First of all, did you have to like throw your routine out the window to what you're used to? Because obviously it's different. Obviously, I think we all did, but what's the one thing that you noticed that you're kind of nervous to have to take on without being there physically?
So here's the thing, like on the agent side, it's not even just different. It's just basically as though it doesn't exist. And that part I don't like. I've talked to, some teams just having like our normal calls that we schedule, our normal Zoom calls that you can literally schedule whenever you want anyways. And I've asked a few of them, like, oh, has it been busy for you guys? Like, what's it like? And they've told me that, because you'll get vendors that want to, tech companies or what have you that want to talk to teams or sell things to teams or whatever it is. So they schedule meetings with teams, but you have much less of that when it comes to agents. Vendors aren't trying to sell things to agents in that way. So most of what we go to do is we go to talk to teams and get different, meetings out of the way and negotiations and whatever, we got to get done. But those are all things that, we just continue to do on our own schedule virtually. So it's like, there's nothing for us to do. Whereas I feel like for the media and for teams, it is different and they're scheduled things, but just virtual. Whereas for an agent, it's just like, cool, we'll schedule a Zoom, just like we've been doing, and we can schedule a Zoom for whenever. So it's just like, it just doesn't exist really. And that sucks.
Yeah. And that's kind of interesting. So I talked to Dave Force, he of course is the A's GM, and I asked him if there was any like advantages to it. And he said the only advantage would be like maybe some of the meetings they would typically have just kind of go quicker because you don't have to assemble everybody. All you have to do, it's just more of an aesthetic thing as opposed to that. And he's just like, yeah, we finished. I think they had a meeting with the Rule 5 people because obviously the Rule 5 is happening on Thursday this week. And he just said it went by way quicker than it has in the past by like hours. It was like 20 minutes and it was done.
I can see that because, look, the way it usually happens is first of all, you got to, coordinate. Okay, so what time is it going to be that we're going to come up? A lot of times because you're, an agent or whoever you're meeting with, usually teams have offices and they rent out hotel rooms basically in the hotel. Yeah. And so a lot of times, you'll go.
When you think about it, that's creepy as fuck.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I know. It's the whole thing is weird, but yeah, so you go to there, you don't know which room unless basically you get invited, because, and you have to have a badge usually to get up to certain elevators or certain floors, because they don't want, media and fans, whatever, just going there, to where the Yankees are going to be, or, whatever it is. So, usually, so let's say, you're an agent, you're walking in the lobby and almost every time, you run into someone, you got to do a quick hi. So the person you're trying to get to usually has to wait a little longer. You've got things like that, just trying to literally get to the rooms. And the elevators are crowded with everyone trying to, get up and down. And then, you get into the room and it's like, you got to have the small talk. It's like, how are you going? Do you guys want something to drink, some food, whatever? I totally get how it could take a lot longer versus you hop on Zoom and it's just like, hey, how's it going? Good. All right, well, let's go. And then you finish and then, end.
I don't care what kind of meeting I'm in, I better be getting offered food.
That was in law school. That was how I chose, they always had lunchtime like meetings or speakers and things like that. And students would literally choose which one they're going to based on like which one was serving Chick-fil-A
Oh yeah.
or, In-N-Out Burger or something. Yeah, that's how we chose.
Yeah, like like if a team's shopping me and they want to offer me Chick-fil-A, I'm gonna remember that. I'm going to
Right.
remember that. I will never it'll leave. Like throw like me, I love me some Qdoba. Like that's pretty big for me. But yeah, so it'll be interesting. But I think one thing that I've noticed is like now I'm kind of glad at the winter meetings, like we're kind of adjusted to working from home already. So it's almost like it's not weird for us type of deal. It's like, oh yeah, obviously this is all going to be done Zoom, what have you. And Forrest made a good point. He's like, actually a lot of the stuff that they do, like he said, he remembers walking into the Tigers room. And obviously these are all labeled rooms because the numbers or whatever. And he said a lot of the, like in the middle of some conversations, like maybe it's the Tigers and the Angels or something. That's an example. But the text conversation could be happening outside of the room. So some of these things are still going on. So it doesn't, that part doesn't skip a beat because these deals could be happening via text message while something else is going on. So he said like still a majority of these deals can be done without being there.
Right. I mean, look, it all can be. It's just, it sucks.
Yeah.
And a lot of it too is sure, business happens there and that is what you go to do, but it's the one time a year where anybody who works in baseball is there. And so, you catch up. There's, I have heard deals have gotten done at the bar, in the lobby. I've heard a rumor that there's been a deal done solely via emojis and texting. I don't know if that one's true, but I've heard it. But look, like this all can be done virtually. It takes away this event of where everyone is forced to be somewhere for a period of time and things happen. It also, I think, does lend itself to slowing down the process a bit because, again, in that 3 or 4 day period when everyone would be in Dallas this year, everyone would have been forced to, look, we're all here. We got to bang out this meeting. We got to meet with all these teams, right? We got to just get it done because we're all here versus having to rely on, the phone. You would rather do it in person. So we would do it all in the next 3 days. We would have had all our meetings. Whereas now, because we're not forced to do that, we might not have another one of our meetings scheduled till next week because it's all just Zoom.
Yeah. You mentioned every time we've talked about winter meetings, you mentioned like, just kind of sometimes you're just hammered in the middle of the lobby and like coagulating. So what are some of the things that you're going to miss the most about winter meetings? And one thing that you're like, thank gosh, I do not have to go through that again.
I have a few of the things.
I know you're excited. You don't have to pack.
I don't have to pack. Well, let me do the thank gods first. So like I don't have to pack. 1, 2, I don't have to, it takes me forever. I mean, it's related to packing, but like figuring out what to wear because you do have to look professional-ish, but not, like it's the female thing that we struggle with all the time. So that part, I don't miss the fact that I remember every single year because we're 5 feet tall. Yes. So like I like wearing heels or boots or things with heels, right? And so I do not miss at the end of the day, like every time at winter meetings, my feet hurt so badly because you're essentially for about 10 hours a day on your feet walking around. They're usually really big like hotels or things where there is a lot of walking and, going kind of decent distances between, buildings or whatever. And so I don't miss that part. And I don't miss the like day or two after where I am wiped out. Like, I don't want anyone to talk to me after that because I'm not an extrovert. I'm definitely an introvert. Like being around people all the time, I love it, but
overstimulated. Yeah,
it drains me. I'm not one of those people that gets energy from it, and so it's about 10 hours a day that ends with drinking, and you have to be on. Like you're going, you're talking to people, you're socializing, like you're doing business, you're switching back and forth. Like you're on for 10 hours for like several days straight. And I finished that and I'm like, I don't want to talk to a single person, nobody, for the next like 2 days. So I don't miss the like hangover part.
Yes.
Literal and like
And figurative. Yeah.
Yeah. But what's the other one? What I do like about it?
What you're going to miss.
Oh, what I'm gonna miss.
Yeah.
Just getting to see everybody. Again, it's the one time a year where anyone who works in baseball, and it's a relatively small industry, so you get to know a lot of people. It's cool to catch up. And it's like that part's fun. I'm definitely going to miss that. And just the ability to be in person. I think that does make a difference a lot of times when it comes to being able to, have negotiations. So,
oh, I agree too. Like even people on social media, like when I meet them in person, they're like, I thought you were going to be a bitch. And I was like, well, I mean, I am, but like, I'm like a cool bitch,
Yeah.
It makes a difference. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people, they're like, oh yeah, you seem, really like, yeah, bitchy, or you're intimidating. They'll tell me that from social media, and then they see me in person, and they're like, you're this like 5 foot little tiny like human, like you're not intimidating at all.
That literally happens to me all the time. Like, you're way small. I'm like, well,
so many people. Like that picture I had with Yasiel the other day for his birthday. And speaking of birthdays, by the way, happy birthday, Mama.
Thanks.
Love you.
Love you. I appreciate you.
Yeah, you and Yasiel have the same birthday.
We do. We are birthday twins.
I had to post twice that day.
You did. And I really appreciated that. And she FaceTimed me during my very small and intimate get together. So
with face masks.
Yes. We even posed like 6 feet apart in photos. Like we went for it. We were good.
I support it.
Yeah.
I tried to be there, but work. But I did try to FaceTime you.
Yes.
But it's more fun posting a picture. Not more fun, but I like posting a picture with you because you're right my height and it's perfect. And everyone else was like, with Yasiel, I can't tell if you're just like really tiny or he's huge. I'm like, to be honest, it's both.
It's a mixture of both. Yeah.
So
yeah, no, it's
what are you gonna miss? Or like, what do you miss? I've
never been to winter meetings.
That's what I was gonna say. So for you, if anything, this is great because you don't usually go. You got
yes and no, but it would have been my first year that I feel like I'm established enough where I could have gone,
Oh, I didn't even know. I thought you weren't gonna go.
I think it would have been like the first time where I had like every right to. I have so many connections and so many things I could have done, and I'm not nervous to ask for interviews anymore. And I could have gotten so much Bach Talk and Cork'd Up shit done.
So we could have hung out there. Like I would have had a real friend.
Yeah, like a legit friend, and like whether you needed me to like pretend to interview you so you took a break.
Just whatever. Stare into my eyes for 10 minutes.
Yeah, like hold up a fake like recorder or something. Yeah. No, I've like planned this in case you ever needed it. So anytime y'all see me pretending to interview her, I'm probably not interviewing her.
We're probably just staring at each other and I'm just like, I'm sleeping with my eyes open.
Yes, and I'm just like holding onto your elbow so you don't fall. But I'm like, yeah, so like Yasiel Puig, like what's the deal with him? And like just like talking out of my ass, or I'm making you sing the ABCs to me or something. So yeah, but I won't miss anything, but I was genuinely looking forward to it. Obviously, like I forgot about it forever just because there was like no way in hell we were going to have one after a few months of all this. So I don't have anything to be sad about, which is kind of good. I have no FOMO,
Yeah, this was going to be, so like for me, winter meetings used to be, and this is what a lot of people who want to break into the industry, I always recommend this, that you go to winter meetings.
It's a good call.
I was told that early on. Someone told me, go to winter meetings. And I was like, what the hell are winter meetings? And it was explained to me. And I remember my first one I went to, I had finals, because they're in December, and I graduated a semester early. So I was graduating, and I had my first final was that that Friday, but I flew out. They were in DC that year. I flew out from, LA to DC. I was there for like 36 hours in DC, flew back, got in midnight, like right before my final, and then took a final. And in law school, like you don't do that. You don't go like you have one test that decides your entire grade, for that class.
Right.
And everyone was like, you're crazy. Like, why would you do that? I missed a review session, all these things. And I was just like, I thought about it and I was like, you know what, at the end of the day, I mean, like I got an A in the class, so it's fine.
Right.
But I was like, my grade doesn't matter in this. Like ultimate, as much as like my pride and I always want to do well, my grade doesn't matter. And what matters is baseball if I want to break in. And so that was more important to me. I don't recommend that for everybody, but
and I would have had your back with that because just like, me, like for me, school was like, whatever.
but I was the kind of person though, that school to me was I don't care if it, people were like, Rachel, like your grades don't really matter. And I knew that in a lot of ways for a lot of things. But at the end of the day, I was the kind of person that
that's your personal goal.
Right.
Yeah.
And I would freak out if I didn't, if I didn't have straight A's or something. So that was a hard thing for me to let go of and, and just at least give myself the opportunity to do other things and not be so freaked out about grades. But so I did that that was my first winter meetings I went to. But what winter meetings were for me back then, it was you set it up and someone gave me good advice. They were like, don't wear a suit and I was like, what? And they're like, don't wear a suit and it's true. Everyone there, it's a bunch of boys and they all wear suits.
They all want to find jobs.
And they all there's a job fair, but it's like for minor league organizations and stuff, but they're all trying to get jobs. And so they hang out in the lobby. And so I was trying really hard, like not to be one of those because I was told initially going in, they were like, anyone who, first of all, the most important people there are going to be in the most casual of clothes. Yeah. For the most part. And then
you're seeing Theo Epstein in like super casual stuff. Yeah.
And so they were like, don't. So if I were you, like they try to avoid every boy in a suit because they know he's going to. And so I tried, not to do that. The other advice I got was they were like, if you want to be in a room with the most important people at one time, 6 a.m. in the gym. And I was like, all right. And meanwhile, I told you I flew for like 36 hours. So I'm West Coast time, but so we're 3 hours behind. So it felt like 3 a.m. for me. But I've done crazier things. So I was in the gym, but then I thought about it and all the GMs are in there, like everyone. And I thought about it when I was in there. I was like, what is one thing I hate more than anything when I'm working out? It's somebody bothering me, trying to talk to me. And I was like, I'm not going to be that person. So I just ended up like working out and I'm like the only female in there working out with all these guys. I didn't say a single thing to them, but it was basically just I set up meetings. Like I would cold call. There were some people, I had emailed Gene Afterman, just different people that I was like, hey, I'm going to be there. Like would love to grab a cup of coffee with you or something. Yeah. You just like set up to talk to them and tell them what you're doing and, like kind of stay in their mind. And then, so like, it's gone from that, which was brutal because like, that's draining to, just be networking. Yeah. And then this was, it's changed a bit over time, but like, this would be the first year where it's like, okay. Cause even with when I had arbitration guys, like you don't need to have negotiations at all at winter meetings for it. So it's different. Whereas like this would be the first year with like free agency, like actually having meetings. And I was really looking forward to it. And it would have been a different experience.
I was thinking about that with you today too. I was like, not only are you an agent, but you have like the biggest name in free agency and like to see not even you, but like all the content that could have been made. Like that would have been.
I know my vlog would have been good. There would have been, I guess no one really knows what the hell, winter meetings are. Everyone, my parents still every time they're like, is it a convention? And I'm like, no.
It's hard to really describe what winter meetings are.
Because it's weird. I would love to know if any other industry has something like this.
Well, it kind of reminds me, just with the weirdness vibe is a lot like the NFL Combine. It's just weird. If you really stop and think about it, it's a bunch of dudes doing weird stuff in front of a bunch of people.
Just watching. Yeah, but
just watching like people jump in tank tops, and it's quiet because like at the combine itself, there's nobody there besides the team,
Right.
so it's
But
empty.
that's like a tryout to me.
Yeah.
It's a little, whereas like this is just literally you just show up. It's just like everyone agreeing to be in one place. I know the minor league stuff is different and they do have like organized things, but for the big league side of things, for the most part, it's a lot of just it's like you text each other and be like, hey, can you meet at this time? You got a window here, I can, let me grab coffee. And sometimes it's just like networking stuff, like it's not even necessarily like actual business, but it's like you got to catch up with someone.
Yeah, see, I guess now I'm getting FOMO because I thrive with networking. I'm good at networking. I'm extremely like personable, and I could get so many fun interviews while I'm there. Like,
yeah. See, but do you enjoy it? Because I don't enjoy.
I do.
So, but are you more of an extrovert?
I think so. But like at the same time, like I think that's why I haven't struggled during quarantine is a big part of my job. Like I will sit down between between Cork'd Up and Bach Talk. I'm interviewing at least 3 people a week.
Yeah.
And so I'm getting my socializing out a little bit, but not too much. But I'm also doing like appearances and stuff. So I'm definitely an extrovert, but I can't 100% say that I need constant attention. I'm at the point in my life where I don't love the attention as much as I used to, but I can handle it.
Yeah.
But I can, it's weird. It depends on when you catch me. I'm at 90% of the time I'm into it, but the other 10%, I was at like a Yogi Berra thing, 90%, but the other half, no, like it depends. It's only because like when I get a lot of attention, I get in my mind and I feel like I have to try too hard, but it's different for the interviews. That's for me. I just get excited because I love making content, and I really do love talking to people because I love people, but I hate everyone, which is, I think that's my mental thing.
I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could go I thrive during quarantine because as much as people a lot of times think that I'm an extrovert, like I thrive like not having to talk to anybody.
Well, you also don't like phone calls too.
I don't, and I get majoring. I used to. My mom is the same, and my youngest brother. And my youngest brother, he is the worst. I have heard him on calls. He'll get on the phone with his bank, and his bank will be, and he needs to ask him a question, and they'll ask him, "What's your account number?" And his eyes, like he'll just like he panics and he just hangs up. And I'm like, why would you do that? He goes, I didn't know the answer. I'm like, you can take a second look. And like, he's an adult, by the way, like for anyone, he's not a kid. He's like, I love him to death. He hates the phone. And I've gotten better and I've had to learn. One of my best friends in law school used to tell me, he was like, you need to, for a summer, just get a job doing cold calling.
Yeah.
And just get it out of your system. And I was like, I literally can't think of any, like I'd rather die than do that. But so I've gotten better because the reality is a majority of my days now are on the phone and talking. I do way better though face to face. There's something about I like to think like at least that I do a good job at making things not awkward.
Yeah.
And like not having awkward pauses and silences. So I'm good at keeping it going. But the stress and pressure of feeling like I have to do that stresses me out. And so I don't like that part. Whereas like sometimes I wish I could just be like, yeah, this is super awkward and I don't care. And we'll just keep it going. But so that's why I think face like stuff works better for me because I can see when they're going to talk and
Yeah, and I think I'm the same way only because like I guess like I don't know if it's a confidence thing, but I also just like I don't have time for bullshit. So I'm just like, can we just figure this out? Or if I see somebody struggling, I don't mind kind of swooping in there and being like, we're done here. They don't want to talk to you anymore, but I'll talk to you. They can go away. It's fine. Like, I don't mind that. And more or less it's just like, I hate awkward stuff. So if it's awkward, I'll be like, okay, well then I'm leaving now because this sucks. Like I'm just not. That's why I've left dates like that too. I'm like, this is a really bad date.
That's why I don't go. That's why I cannot do. I went on like a blind date one time.
A blind date?
Yeah.
Wow.
and I didn't like it. I was just, and I don't like in general, I don't like forced fake things. So
Yeah.
it's why I don't think in this industry too, it's very, it, like a lot of times you don't submit your like that's not how you get a job in this industry, by just like applying and submitting a resume. It's very different than, you know, a lot of other industries. It's a lot about who you know, and that goes back to networking. And so for me, it's the same. I think I really do believe it's hard to get to truly know who someone is and to see if there's chemistry to work together by submitting a resume, because and then interviewing. Because think about it, in an interview, everyone knows what to say, or you would hope that like by at some point that they know what to say and how to handle questions. But then you end up getting surprised when you work with them for a while, because you're like, wow, like this person's like, there are things that bother you don't like about them, whatever it is. And you don't get to know that from just like, you know, sitting on an interview. It's the same with dating. I feel like,
100%.
you know all the right things to say, but that doesn't mean, like, it's hard to find the chemistry. So I'd much rather like find someone, you know, by meeting them with friends and
organically,
right? The same way, like in network, a lot of times getting a job in this industry is like knowing someone for a while. They get to know you. They, you know, like it's different.
Well, and that's what's cool about me is the people that have hired me. I have so much fucking content out there that, and I'm very much myself on whatever I'm doing. So that's kind of cool. But also I'm like, I don't like when, I mean, I've talked to you this before. We're like totally segue, like going off.
Yeah, we've gone way out. It's fine though.
But it's fine. But like, I hate when people are obsessed with this, like my job. And because I already struggle with it. I'm addicted to my job. And it's like, I wish I would find a guy who's like, that's cool, but like, let's watch something else or whatever. So, but it's a weird balance, and I'm the same way. So they get all caught up in, but then it's just weird though, because they get caught up in my job, and I'm pretty much myself on all of it. But then I feel like they get off on like the stuff I do, and then when I'm like not interviewing Trevor Bauer that day, they're like, who the fuck is she? And I'm like, ew. And that's the last guy I dated would not stop asking me where Trevor Bauer was going to sign. And I shouldn't even say dated, because he doesn't deserve that term. But the last guy who I was talking to would not leave me alone about Trevor. And I was like, do you want to go sleep with him? Because apparently you don't want to date me anymore.
Well, everyone has been texting me, like friends. Some people like I've never spoken to, and like I've gotten some rude texts or like DMs lately from people I haven't spoken to since like my childhood, who are like, if you don't get him here, you're a bad agent. I'm like, you know what? You can go fuck yourself. I'm specifically not going to have him go there now because of you. Yeah. So that fan base can thank you. I'm kidding. I wouldn't do that. But like, part of me would be that petty. But I will say though, content I think is a good, like it does help getting to know people. And so people who are trying to get in this industry, if you, I think, put yourself out there on social media, because let's be honest, Jess and I started a podcast together by knowing each other for 5 minutes, like in person. But it was like, we felt like we knew each other from just, I don't know how you knew me, because like I wasn't really that much on Twitter.
I know, but
I knew you. I was like, I was the one who reached out to you about it initially, and because
let's never forget that, guys. She pursued me.
I did. I was that girl.
She slid into my DMs, you naughty girl.
I did. I tell her this all the time when she's worried about, you know, like I get shit for being, you know, for having a funny personality. I'm like, Jess, if you didn't talk about weird shit, I never would have slid into your DMs to begin with.
The nicest thing anybody's ever said.
It was the start of our relationship.
It was.
So that's how I do think there's something to learn for people who do want to be in this industry, that if you can let people know what you're doing and who you are on social media, you can do that without anybody's help. Then it definitely helps in a lot of ways.
And even that happened recently. I had a player on Bach Talk in the last few weeks. I'll say few weeks so I don't give away who it was, but he came on and he was like, Jess, like, this is so cool. I never thought I'd be on your podcast. And it like was the coolest thing. I was like, what? Like, you make a shit ton of money. Like, you're cool. Like, I don't understand. So like to know that like that can translate in all the things, and to know like the players are paying attention, and like that translates with everything, and it's a good trust thing and everything like that. So I'm glad we went on this tangent, because I feel like that's important. Because at the end of the day, I always say this, I like Trevor as a pitcher, but I love him from the content perspective. And I think that's what's important, is because I often forget he's a baseball player in the best way, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about him in a little bit, but the thing that we're talking about weird stuff, and something else that I was covering this season is extra weird is the All MLB team. And we're not going to go too far into this, but I was pretty stoked to know that I found out that like Trevor got it, Liam got it, Mike Yastrzemski got it. So our boys made it. But I guess my question for you is, I get where it was coming from last season because it's the second time they've done it. Last year was its an inauguration, but it somewhat posed as a second half all-star team. But when you say all-star team from an agent perspective, that's good. But it's not the all-star team. So like how does that help? Because I know we've talked about arbitration stuff and like saying, well, this guy's a 4-time all-star. He's whatever. But how would you bring there are MLB team into it, or would you?
Well, you don't have the same number, right, of people that are selected players.
No, it's definitely less.
Right, it's less. So, I mean, first of all, there's going to be fewer that get to use that to their advantage.
Right.
And it's like it's not the all-star, and you can't.
Is it resume worthy?
I mean, I don't think, yeah, but they're not gonna, I mean, and in arbitration, I mean, we talk about awards, we talk about being player of the week. So like sometimes, because like, look, if you're like a Cy Young winner, you don't necessarily need to like, brag about
also an All MLB selection.
Yeah. But, in an arbitration case, when they start, trying to separate out parts of the market based on award recognition and special, accomplishments and achievements, then sometimes all you have to work with is like you were player of the week, and hey, that's something. So, you make what you like what you can out of what you got. But is Baseball Reference like adding this? Not that like
no, they didn't. They certainly aren't adding. They're definitely not adding that. I mean, if they are, they're not doing it now, or if they do in the future, maybe.
It's still. I mean, because the way they use it in arbitration is they separate parts of the market, and it still is an accomplishment, and it will separate parts of the market this year, but you're not going to be able to say, well, if you're using a guy from 2 years ago to compare yourself to, you're not going to be able to say, well, I was an all MLB team and this guy wasn't, because they didn't have it. So
it could be like one of those stupid tiebreakers, I guess, if you really need to. But from now on, I'm only going to refer to Trevor Bauer and Liam Hendricks as all MLB selections. And that's it. Yeah. Nothing.
I'll kill you.
They have nothing else to offer this world.
Nothing.
And like, because Yaz made it too. And you know me, I love some Yaz, but like he was my NL MVP pick and obviously didn't get it, but I'm still going to refer to him as Jessica's NL MVP pick heading into the 2020 season. So none of y'all earned anything. I'm not impressed. Sorry. So if Trevor doesn't make all MLB next year, I'm just going to like, okay.
Well, it was like, I feel like they should announce that before like MVP and stuff, because even you asked me, you were like, wait, did Trevor make first team or second? I'm like, if the Cy Young winner didn't make first team, Jess, like.
But then I confirmed he did make first team.
No, I know that, but the fact that
I just want to like the people to know that I like knew that before.
But that's what I mean. Like, so it's fair. Just like, to me, like if you're gonna something like that, I think the biggest award of the season you should announce last, like MVP and Cy Young.
I agree.
Because when you wait till now to announce like MVP, I mean, like all MLB team, I mean, just from, if we talk about from like a pitching standpoint, I think we knew Bieber and Bauer are shoo-in for the first team.
Yeah.
Because again, like you just gave them the biggest award in baseball, right? Like, aren't they gonna, this is less. So I just think from, announcement standpoint, if you want it to matter more.
Right. Because if you flipped it, you couldn't be like, oh, well, they made the all MVP and I didn't even know that. The all MLB team, they must be a shoo-in for the Cy Young. But if you flip it, oh, they got the Cy Young, they must be a shoo-in for the ML.
Right. You can't, there's only one side. Right. Like the biggest.
They need to call it something different. I can't even like say
I
it.
hate the All MLB team. I think it's an awful name. At the very least, if you're not going to change the order in which you announce it, just change the damn name. I don't like it. Says Rachel.
Should fans care about this at all?
Yeah, I think you would have a better pulse on that than me.
Oh, that's actually fair. I feel like yes, only because it's weirdly enough, I think it's the perfect time to have it was after this weird season. Just like something else to celebrate. I mean, to have it in its second season, because last year was super weird. You were like, what is this?
So do you think anyone gives a shit though in December?
I give a shit in December.
Well, this is your job, but
I just got excited that I knew ahead of time, and I think that only from like the media perspective, where I got to write my article 2 hours before it was announced. I was like,
that's awesome, and like from a professional, standpoint, I'm very happy for you.
Thank you.
That sounded.
That's
really
all. You know what? That's all I care about, Rach. As long as you're happy for me.
It sounded super disingenuous, but I'm being serious when I say that.
But also, why have a 2-hour show for this? That's the real question. A 2-hour show.
So I didn't even know there was a show. I guess my whole thing is it's what, December 9th? I don't think fans really care.
Yeah. I mean, I only care because I had to wait until it was officially announced to
But I'm saying, but you're not a fan. Like, do fans care on you work in this industry. Like, I understand,
from a fan's perspective, just because I am a fan, no, I was watching Snapped while they announced it.
I don't know what that is, but yeah.
You don't know what Snapped is?
No.
It's like, oh my.
I only watch MLB Network.
Okay, chill.
I'm serious. I don't watch. Hold on, and I watch some like Netflix shows, but other than that,
so I'm like a true crime junkie, and Snapped is on Oxygen, and it's just about women who do all the murdering.
Ooh, kinky.
I love. Yeah, it's very kinky actually. They actually call. I heard because there's like a whole channel dedicated to it, and I call it like murder porn.
You sound like a serial killer now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't have time to kill a bunch of people. I'm so busy. I just don't.
Well, let's keep it that way then.
Yeah, I just like don't have time to kill people. So we're gonna go into something else. I'm hoping you can get Trevor on the phone soon because I have a very important question to ask him about. I have a really good idea of how he should announce the team.
Well, hold on. Let's see if we can get.
Because I want to get this out there. And I feel like he'll take it into consideration.
I did text him and he was like, I'm lifting.
He's lifting?
Yeah.
Cool flex, literally.
I think I just got hung up on. So, maybe I didn't even get a there. It just said goodbye. I don't know what just happened there.
Oh my god,
that was weird, right? I didn't. I just got a goodbye, like a bitchy.
I would like. She was like saucy about it.
Yeah, it was.
She like did like the neck roll. She was like goodbye. I want to know how he did that first of all, because I would.
And then I'm going to be upset. But yeah, that was interesting. So to explain, maybe we can call him. So let's explain. So today, while I'm trying to get through all my work.
Yeah.
I keep getting sidetracked by random things. That's like a daily occurrence. And so today I got a call at the last minute. Trevor was like, can I please speak to you? And is that how he No. And I was like, when do you ever text me asking?
Hold on.
Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. So he texted me. Oh, I think we can call him today or right now. Now, okay, we're going to call him and then we'll do the first part of it.
Okay.
Hello?
sir. How are you? This is
Trevor.
Rachel Luba and Jessica Kleinschmidt on Cork'd Up.
Hello, girls. How are you?
I'm good, Trevor. I have a very important question, though.
Jess had a really good idea. She was asking me how my day went, and I told her that it got a little thrown off when, my client called me about an idea of how to break where he's going to sign at some point. Yes. And she had a really good idea, and she wants to know, so she's going to tell you her idea of how to do it.
So Trevor, I'm thinking a really good idea for you to reveal like where you're going is kind of like a gender reveal. So you're going to be like out in the field somewhere, like the field of the place that you're going to sign. And we're going to pitch you something. And when you swing the bat, the color of the team's going to burst out with the bat. And I think it's a really good idea. What do you think?
That could be good. I think it'd be really funny if I was at one stadium in a different color platform.
Yeah, actually, you could literally troll.
That's brilliant. Troll them. Be at a different stadium, and then like the two that everyone thinks it's about to narrow down to,
or like the rivalry of if it's like one team, it's the rival.
Yeah. So which if it was college, like if you were signing with UCLA, you do it at USC. And all of a sudden it's UC. Yeah. Anyways.
And I'll hold my belly in the process.
Yeah. Jess wants me in the background like she's pregnant. And there was one video.
Jess was throwing.
Oh, yeah. She's throwing. Yes.
Oh, I can throw it. That's actually fair.
I'll be the catcher. And then, there was some video I saw on Barstool my brother sent to me of a gender reveal, and they like popped the colors came out, and they were like screaming so excited. And the one girl with the camera was like, no, shit, stop. It's the wrong one.
You have like a 50-50 shot. How do you?
Everyone was like, you had one job, literally one job, and and they were just like, and then the husband was just like, oh well, yay, it's a boy. So sorry to take time out of your lift, but we just wanted to share Jess's idea. So think about it.
Yeah, just let us know.
I'll keep it in mind. I'm still developing my idea, but I'll keep you girls in mind for sure.
Thanks, Trevor. I appreciate it.
We appreciate it. All right. Have a good one.
What a gem. So there it is. And I like how he wants me to pitch it to him.
Yeah.
I'm going to do one right down the dick, as I like to say.
That's your favorite. Yeah.
It is my favorite. But let's get into why this was brought up after you guys had the conversation. Do you want to get into how you reacted to his idea?
Yeah, so he told me his idea. I thought it's something he's been thinking about for a while, and anything Trevor does, there's a lot of thought that goes into it. He's on the right track. It's tough though, regardless, because I know this is important to him. Yes. But it's difficult to keep to even expect that you can keep it contained and be the one to release it. And especially how you want to release it. So, without just some, Bill Smith tweeting Trevor as, I was going to use a real name, but I didn't want
all baseball writers' names are Bill Smith, if we're being honest.
Yeah, I was trying to go generic,
all Bill Smith.
Yeah. Anyways, it's coming along, but this is something that he's really thinking about. I'm saying this jokingly, but he is putting, close to the same amount of thought into it that he's putting into choosing his team.
I feel like they're one and the same though.
Yeah.
Cause I don't know when I'll ever have to announce something that big. Maybe my next big job offer, and I'll bring him into the mix too. Like, Trevor, how do I announce that I'm going to work for X, Y, and Z, or that I lost 4 pounds finally? whatever happens first. Okay. So let's talk more Trevor. And I found this one tweet today, and it was Darren Rovell, and he took a screenshot. Darren Rovell's like the guy who just tweets things, a lot of interesting things. And it was a screenshot of a Trevor post, and it said sponsored underneath, and it looked like it was from Facebook. And we were talking about this and I was kind of confused. Like, is Trevor trolling is he sponsoring his free agency? And I thought it was genius.
Yeah,
But
you sent it.
Yeah. And I
Yeah,
sent it to you.
you sent it to me and I saw it. And yeah, Morgan Blank, she does his marketing. She does a killer job. And so I saw it, she responded to it, but I called her and I was like confused at first because the way he worded it, I thought it was just like publicizing it or promoting it. But the way that the tweet was worded from Darren Revel. Darren. Yeah. Okay. Cut that. So the way that the way the tweet was worded from Darren, it made it sound like a company was sponsoring like his free agency. And so I think it's interesting. It's an interesting idea, but I think there would be possibly some conflicts of interest. I don't know. It's something to like definitely think about, but I'm not 100% sure it would work. But yeah, Morgan posted it on his Facebook, which was awesome. And just in a different uniform and stuff. So it was pretty funny.
Yeah. It's brilliant only because I think of it from like just a clickbaity type of thing. And I believe he was in a Mets uniform, which is like very like the New York tabloid type of vibe, which I really got into. But it got my attention and it got Darren Revel's attention. Even Darren was like, that's interesting. It's sponsored. It's kind of genius. So we really appreciate you. And it was, it was genius. I liked it.
Well, yay for Morgan. She's just always crushing it.
She is. I think that's it for this episode.
Yeah. We covered a lot.
We did. We covered quite a bit, but you know what? It's always a blast talking to you, Rach. There was like a good 15-minute period where I forgot that we were actually recording a podcast.
Well, that happens sometimes to us, but I enjoyed it. So we will catch you guys on the next episode of Cork'd Up.
Yeah, we'll see you next time. So cheers once again, Mama. I love you.
Cheers. Love you too.